And on the menu today is curried lobster and Argentinian shrimp. So I'm going to put those two together. I'm going to make a wonderful curry with the two meats. So my lobsters are still in the shell. We're going to take the shell off and devein. If it needs to be deveined, we'll devein it. Have my shears right here to cut the shell open. With the shell of the lobster and the shell of the shrimp, the Argentinian shrimp, we're gonna make a broth. I'm gonna take the shell off, and we're gonna boil that shell and boil the shells and make a broth. And the broth we're gonna use for the stew, for the curry stew. So let me show you. Let me explain the ingredients, and then so we can get moving. So here are the other ingredients that I'll be using. Obviously, we'll have to have some roasted Geera, and I'm using the spicy Indian special Madras curry powder. It's an Indi product. It's a wonderful product. Well, the shrimps are here. We're gonna, once we get the meat out of the shells, I'm going to lightly season with some bullion powder. I have some thyme here, some garlic powder, some complete seasoning, and some turmeric. I'm going to lightly season the meats. Also, into the stew, we're going to have some green seasoning, and I have some spicy garlic, a spicy garlic mix that I made with hot peppers and garlic. That's all that's in there, hot peppers and garlic. And I have a tomato salsa, which I'll just throw a tablespoon in there, just to enhance the flavor. It's all about flavors. And my fresh seasonings, I have a purple onion, white onion, ginger, some garlic, some more fresh garlic, and I have some chilies, some burnt peppers as we call them. And what I did, I did some slits in there so that the heat can come out, and we can fish them out whenever we want, when it gets too hot. And I have some dried curry leaves, which I'm going to put in the curry, in the stew, and some potatoes, just for something hearty in there. Okay, so those are the other ingredients. Let's go. And this is the pot that I'm going to do the broth in. In here I have bay leaves, onions, mint, and ginger, and thyme, some fresh thyme. The mint, I always saw my father, whenever he did seafood broth or a stew, he always had mint in there. The mint gives it a nice flavor and a nice aroma. So I stick with that. I stick with that habit, so to speak. Anyway, so let's get working on the lobsters and get the broth going, and we'll get this dish started. First, check out the lobsters. Let me just open them. And these have been deveined already. No, there's still some of the vein is still in here. Yep. Some of the vein is still in here. Okay. Let's get rid of that. And we'll get the meat out of here. And the shell is going to go into the stock pot. apparently this one was successfully deveined. No, it wasn't. So we got to get this out. Get the vein out of there. So we're just removing the shells and also removing the veins, putting the shells into the stock pot. So we're going to continue doing that with the other two, and I'll be right back. Stock is boiling. Okay, so this is going to go for maybe about 35-40 minutes, and I'll be back. So while the stock is boiling, let's rinse our meats, our shrimp and lobster meat. Make sure they're nice and clean. All the little pieces of shell out of there. I'm going to squeeze just a little bit of lime in here on them. Just to get rid of any fishy or ocean smell, kind of, you know. We have some bullion powder here, some garlic powder, some complete seasoning. I put a bit of turmeric there for some color, because we're currying everything, so let's give it some color. I'm also going to put a tablespoon of my spicy garlic, mix here, and some complete seasoning. We're going to just rub this in. But I know I'm not going to leave the meat this large for the curry, so I'll slice the lobster tails. Maybe bring them down to the size of the shrimp, kind of, you know. And these are not going to take long to cook, so once I get my curry stew all set, then we'll put this we'll put the meat in. So here we go. So let it sit here and marinate until the broth is done. I'll be back. So once we're on the move, let's go ahead and multitask. So we have the broth going over there. Let's start our curry stew, because we have to get all this stuff sauteed, and you know, we're gonna hold back on that. I think we're gonna just put one of these peppers in here, so one of them in here. I'm going to do this on medium heat. You want these onions to get nice and flavorful. And once the onions are nice and soft and flavorful, we're going to add the curry and the Geera in here, and so that it can cook down. In the meantime, the broth is looking awesome. Let's just put some ginger paste in there. My spicy ginger, spicy garlic, sorry. The garlic paste. I'm gonna let this cook down. Some green seasoning. Flavor town here. So we're going to just let this go. A few minutes and I'll be back. The onion and the other stuff has wilted, and so I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of curry powder and 1 tablespoon of ground Geera. Now we're going to let this curry cook, or as they say, burn the curry. We're going to let it cook until it's nice, and maybe about 5 to 7 minutes before we pour anything else in here. Let's give it some more heat. Since our curry has been frying and sauteing for a while, the broth is done. We'll add the broth. And let this continue cooking. If it gets too thick, we'll just add some water along with some bullion powder mixed in, just to maintain the flavor. And we'll go to medium heat because we don't want it drying out too fast. So we let this cook for a minute. Oh, at this time we can add the potatoes in there, and we can add the curry leaves in there. This is the time to do that. You see how thick it is now? It's getting thicker. So what I'll do is add some hot water to the broth pan, and we'll use that. I just added the rest of the complete seasoning, the bullion powder, the turmeric. I added a cup of I put a cup of hot water into the shells, and then I strained it out and mix it around, and then I strained it to get some more of that broth flavor into the water. So we're going to let this go, until the potatoes are like fork tender before we put the lobsters and the shrimps in. So let's slap a cover on here and I'll be right back. Now that the potatoes are fork tender, we'll add the lobster and shrimp into the stew. So we're doing curried lobster with Argentinian shrimp. And get them all coated. Awesome. Then we'll just let this go for maybe about 10 minutes until the shrimp and the lobsters are cooked. I'll be back. So here we go, guys, the finished product. The shrimp and the lobster, just about 7 minutes, and the sauce is getting nice and thick. That's what we love. The potatoes are soft and we're ready. We're done. We'll serve this up with some roti and enjoy. Bon appetit. Serving up with a nice soft roti. You have the lobster and the shrimp curry. Lobster and the shrimp curry served up with a nice soft roti here. Look at that. Roti is so soft. It's awesome. I'll leave the link for the roti in the caption. Cheers.